trillions of dollars of debt, and when the interest rates go up, they are planned to go up this year. How will we handle that, and how would you handle other nations like China beginning to buy us out or have so much debt that they own us?
Well, first of all, recognize that our debt is probably the thing that is most likely to destroy us in the immediate future. We're talking 18 trillion. Now, just to get some idea of how big that number is, if you tried to pay it back at a rate of $10 million a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, it would take 5,000 years. Wow. Okay. That's what we're talking about. It's accumulating at the rate of $500 million a day. And it's absolutely destroying the prospects of a good future for our children, our grandchildren. We have politicians who sit around and they say, it didn't go up quite as fast as it did last quarter. That's their definition of success? That is absolute absurdity. So, how do we get out of this problem? Well, first of all, recognize our government is so big. If you take the salaries of everybody who made $69,000 and above in 2010, last year we have good stats for it, it comes out to $5.1 trillion. The national budget that year was $3.5 trillion. 60% of everything the middle class and above makes just to run the federal government. That tells you how absurd it is. So, step number one, we need to trim the government. Now, that always creates a big brouhaha because everybody thinks that their little segment is the most important, and yeah, trim everybody else but us. But there's a very logical way to do it: attrition. We have thousands of government employees that retire every year. Do not replace them. Okay? You can simply move people around into critical positions from one place to another. If you do that for about 4 or 5 years, you're down to a reasonable level. That's going to control a tremendous amount of costs right there. The other thing is, you can't cut your way out of this. You have to grow your way out of it. And you're going to grow your way out of it when you have a reasonable tax structure. And when you get rid of the overreaction that we've had in terms of regulating. You know, and when I'm talking about regulating, I'm talking about all kinds of, I'm talking about the Fed too. The Fed has over-regulated, to be honest with you. By putting us in this artificial 0% growth rate for loans, what does that actually do? People used to be able to work. They could work in a factory, be a plumber, a gardener, whatever, put 5 to 10% of your earnings away. You do that for a few decades, and with the interest that you accumulated, you had a very nice next thing to retire on. That doesn't work in this system. That means nothing. And what about the banks? Why would they loan you anything? You want to start a business? Why are they going to loan you something with an interest rate of 1% or less? Well, there's no incentive for them to loan you anything. So those are things that prevent growth in our society. So when I'm talking about regulation, I'm talking about a whole smattering of regulation that are injuring us as a nation. And we need to get rid of those. You talk to small businessmen, and they'll tell you how much more paperwork we have to do, that frequently have to hire somebody extra just to deal with all the regulations that are going on. This is ridiculous. The government was designed to promote life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not to control every aspect of our lives. And it's up to us to get them out of our lives.
Undercurrent under the surface makes the mainstream get so nervous. It's time for purpose, for news to serve us, not with propaganda they use.